Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. Right, this video today is on this 2008 E60 520 diesel, and I was asked to look at this car for two reasons. I'm not 100% sure if they're going to be related or not, but one, the car is going into limp mode, don't know yet why. Second is because apparently the car is showing a high temperature for the engine, and the cooling fans are running all the time. I actually seen that when the car was dropped here. The car was dropped here running, and I could hear the fans going full blast all the time, and was some warnings here on the dash for temperature. Apparently they changed water pump, they changed thermostat, and the car is still doing the same. So that's where we are. I don't know if the car is really overheating or if there's something else that is causing those warnings. Now, the interesting bit was that the car was dropped here, and I was just about to leave home when the guy dropped the car, and the car was dropped. And the first thing I've done, they got a starter pack out of the boot, and I've closed the car. And when I was about to lock the car wouldn't lock. And I look at the guy, and he goes, yeah, the battery needs a new battery. The battery is flat. And I said to the guy, well, I can change the battery if you want on the remote. They are not supposed to. And he said, no, the car battery is flat. And I thought to myself, hold on a second, you just stopped. This was like 60 seconds after the engine was turned off, and I couldn't lock the car anymore. And he said, yeah, the battery's completely gone. And my first reaction was, look, either you bring me a battery, or you can take the car back. So he actually got me a battery. There's a brand new battery in there. That's a brand new battery. So the first thing I'm going to do is obviously put a new battery on the car and program it to the car and go from there. But obviously I'm not going to take you through that, just the story of what's going on. At the moment the car, as you're going to see, is completely dead. Nothing happens, nothing works on the car, there's no lights, the car is completely dead. So that battery is completely flat. So that's where we are. Then we'll scan the car and we'll see if I'm going to split this video for the limp mode and the temperature, or the warning for the high temperature on the engine, whatever that is. I don't know yet, I haven't seen it, so I think we're gonna have to go as we go along. And yeah, but I think I might split the videos probably and make two videos out of this, perhaps. But yeah, so stay there, I'll be back in a sec. New battery installed, old battery out, and we do have now ignition, I hope. There we go. There we go, and we have ignition. Okay, so my next step now is going to be scanning the car and try to figure out what's wrong, but not before that. Let's gonna start this thing and see exactly what it does. Okay. There's no fans running yet. Could it be that the guy was running this with that battery completely depleted, and the alternator alone was not capable of having this to power everything, and the car was just going crazy? It won't surprise me. It would not surprise me. Let's give it a scan and see exactly what we have. Okay, just got the battery registered and did an auto scan, and I'm actually very surprised. This is the only 3 modules that showed any faults. Okay, let's gonna quickly see what this body control module tell us. Just see what is in there. Interior lamps. Not even worried about that. The alarm system. Wait. Okay, it could have been, yeah, the battery, whatever. Most likely these codes will come back. For now, I'm just gonna clear them. They didn't come back for now, but it's gonna go to the engine. Let's see if anything tells us why it's going to limp mode and why was the fans constantly running. Okay, so main relay, power management, battery. So obviously this still makes all sense with the battery the way it was. And then the preheating control unit missing. Okay, this is my glow plugs control unit. We all know about this. What am I gonna do? Let me just quickly check. Okay, so there is a DPF on this thing, as was pretty much just checking there again something. So 16 degrees in there. Operational values. Coolant temperature 20 degrees is about right. Only with engine running. Okay, that's gonna start this thing. I would say it's pretty accurate, so pretty much the same temperature compared the coolant to the air intake. Guys, I can only guess. Is the only thing that really makes sense to me is that all the issues were caused by that battery being completely gone. There's nothing else here, isn't it? So, right, at the moment it's fault free, so I think I'm gonna leave it running for a little bit longer. Actually, I'm gonna stop it, do a close inspection around the engine, check everything, then I might go for a quick drive, see how it drives, see if anything comes back or if anything happens. But at the moment it looks like just the glow plugs and the control unit. But the car being fitted with the DPF, we're gonna have to sort that out. Also because, let me show you this. It looks like this thing had, can you see in there? Looks like this thing has a new DPF installed. It's quite too clean to be a old 2008, so I think it's been swapped. And if we leave these like this, it's not going to be a very good move if we don't replace those glow plugs and the controller. So I think we might gonna have to check that out. And this is gonna turn probably into a quite simple video, nothing rocket science, but I might share it with you. Why not? Okay, a little bit more inspection, and I found something already a little bit disturbing, kind of. Okay, this is bad So we're gonna have to remove that checker and replace this hose, because this hose is gone. So we're gonna have to do that for the DPF pressure sensor, and I'm gonna start to pull these out. I could just go for a drive and kind of, if it's okay, well, whatever, try to see if something else would come back. But we have these faults for the glow plugs, so we're gonna have to check the glow plugs. So I'm gonna remove all these here at the top, get to the glow plugs and measure the glow plugs, see how they are. And then I think the controller for these lives down here underneath this throttle body, so am I gonna have to take the throttle body in order to get to it? We'll have to see how it goes. I was thinking maybe removing this manifold to give it a clean, but not sure. Let me think, let me see how things goes. Okay, so the sensor is out. When you look, obviously you can't really see it here, the camera is not going to show, but it looks actually quite clean. So it's not like if it's clogged with soot and whatever. It looks actually quite clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it back in, put some pressure and look at some live data, see how the sensor reads. So actually I might just do this if possible. Actually, let me place the camera first. Okay, so let's gonna put the pipe on the sensor like so. Let's gonna plug it in, so that should start to see some readings in there. There we go. Okay, so it's close to zero. Engine is off, 4 millibars. That's nothing. Let's gonna put the thingy, which is here. Place it like this. Now these sensors, this particular sensor should read up to about a bar somewhere around there, so it will be about 1000 millibars, close to that. So let's gonna put these into pressure, and I'm not gonna expect 100% correlation between what reads here and there. They shouldn't be too far out. I don't know how well calibrated this is, so we're gonna do a tiny bit. There we go. So look at that, it's pretty much half a bar, which would be just after the needle, and it's reading 487, so it's actually quite accurate. So nearly a 900. Look at that. Can you see in there? Nearly at 900 millibars and reading 860, so it's quite. Put a little bit more. Okay, so we passed a bar now. The sensor reads 972, so I guess that's going to be the maximum it's going to be able to read. To be honest, the back pressure of that would never reach this high. If it would reach this high, something would have to be really wrong. So I'm quite happy with these readings. There we go, back to zero. So I'm quite happy with these readings. So the next thing we are going to do is obviously get a new hose for this. And oh Jesus, oh, let's get a new hose for this and go from there. Okay, so new hose has been installed. The old one really feels soft in some areas. It looks like it's breaking on the inside, so it's still the original pipe anyway, 2008. So yeah, it feels really bad. So new hose installed. So now we're gonna start the car and see. I want to see which pressures we have on this DPF system. That's gonna turn it off. Start it up. Right, to start with, no, not really. I was about to say was in need of a regeneration, but actually the pressures are not too bad. 10 millibar, 15 millibars is not too bad actually. Okay, so we did 16,000 kilometers since the last regeneration, and it looks like the DPF has been actually reset when it was changed, because he has 125,000 kilometers left. So to me it looks like that's been reset when they put it in. So I'm not too bad with this. The only little bit I'm a little bit concerned with is because of the glow plugs. So let's gonna turn it off. Is the glow plugs. I'm not happy with that for the car to regenerate, and I think that's my next step is going to be pull those glow plugs out, pull the controller out and get all brand new stuff and go from there. Okay guys, did a little bit off camera, as you might be able to see. I'm going to take you through absolutely everything I've done, and yes, so it looks like there is 2 glow plugs that are not in very good shape, number 3 and number 4, but I will show you in a second. And the glow plug controller looks like it's bad as well. Now if I only had the glow plugs bad, obviously I was having communications with my module, the module would report which glow plug was bad. We don't even get communications with the module, or the ECU is not communicating with the module. So I would say this is a bad module. Now I'm going to show you that. So in order to go for so before we go to the glow plugs, let me just take you through the glow plug module controller. So on these, because it's a 4-cylinder, let me see if I can show you these here somehow. So on this side, with this with the plug in this position, with this flat side facing, in this case, the right, and here on the side, I would love to have this somehow, put the light, it's not going to be easy. So on this side, oh, come on, hold yourself somehow, okay, maybe like this. So we have, Jesus, so from the right to the left, as you can see, the top pins are not populated. We have 1 at the bottom there, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all in a row for the glow plugs. Then we have the last ones, which after my finger is 5 and 6. That's going to be voltage and ground. And then we would have another 6 pins on this side. That last one on the top making 12, which is my BST line, or lean buzz line, sorry. So what we should see here is, as you can see, I'm now probing number 5. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there somehow, put this into ground. Okay, and I'm gonna turn the ignition on. Let me put the phone here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm probing. So the way the module works is you have this big cable at the top, which is this cable here. This is purely to feed the glow plugs. So when the module activates the glow plugs, that's where the voltage comes from. And then the module itself, on that plug in there that we are probing now, we'll have, as I said, we'll have the 4 pins that comes to the glow plugs, and then you have a dedicated voltage that comes from fuse number 2 inside this box here, a 20 amp fuse. So when I turn the ignition on, although is everything plugged, it doesn't really matter. I don't think I even need to turn the ignition on. I just need to wake up the car. As soon as I do that, it should power this fuse in order to power the module. So I'm just gonna insert the key, and that should come on. That's strange. Oh, sorry, poor contact up here. I do apologize. Poor contact up here on the ground. So as you can see, I have voltage on my pin 5. So now if I put this into voltage, let me get the clips here, voltage. Now if I move this to pin 6, I should have ground. There we go, ground. Then we'll have my BST line. I already checked everything from here to the plugs. They are all good, but obviously that would trigger a different fault other than the communications. So to me, this module is gone busted. But again, I do have something wrong on my glow plugs as well. Let me just measure all the glow plugs one by one, and I will show you the results. Okay, so now we're going to measure the glow plugs one by one. So I have the ground here on this bolt here on the alternator, and you're going to see that if I go to the chassis of the car or the engine block, I have 0 ohms. Okay, so it's a good reading. So now we're going to read let's going to start on number 1. Come on, let's just double check that we have a good connection. Engine block 0 ohms or 0.1, it's good. Number 1 we have 0.7, a little bit on the low side, but not too bad. Number 2 we have 0.9, which is just about right. You should be looking for about an ohm. Number 3 we have 0.4, 0.5, again a little bit on the low side. And number 4, 0.5 again. So to me, only one glow plug is actually where it should be, which is number 2, if I'm not mistaken. Just reading about 0.9. All the other ones, they don't look too good. The last 2, I was getting about 1 ohm earlier on this one, on number 1. But doesn't really matter, guys. We're going to replace everything anyway. And we're going to clean everything. So as you're going to be able to see, these intakes, they are not brilliant. Okay, as you can see them in there, everything is a little bit caked. The manifold is leaking. Oh, the manifold itself, as you can see, is not in very good shape either. Okay, and this mirror, yeah, it's not pretty. Okay, and it's leaking right there at the end. There's a lot of play on here, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna speak with the owner. We might blank these real flaps, get them out, clean the manifold maybe, and go from there. So, but first, the tricky bit, which is removing those 4 glow plugs. That's always the scary part. Okay, and just to keep you guys up to date, before I start anything else, I just rang the owner, spoke with the owner about what I think it needs doing. He confirmed again that the only thing that was done to the car by him was or by whoever did it, was indeed the thermostat and water pump. That's the only things he said that's been done. Obviously, as I said, that looks quite new to me, so I don't know. He reckons he hasn't done it, but I'm going to assume that the DPF is there. So, and looking, judging by those back pressures, he's probably not wrong. So I've ordered a new glow plug controller from BMW. Just been on the phone. That's done. I spoke with him about the play on the intake manifold. He's happy for me to actually blank them out. So that's probably what we're going to do, because all this play here, as you can see on the shaft, you see, is going to make this be losing boost. Obviously, I'm not going to say he's losing, see, it's all this play. So I'm not going to say he's losing a tremendous amount, but he's going to be losing boost. So I'm going to have to get rid of this rear flap somehow, and then blank these here at the end somehow, and leave just the motor there connected. But that's where we are at the moment. Cleaning the throttle body as well, obviously, and clean those intakes, and again replace the glow plugs. I've only ordered the controller from BMW. The glow plugs, I will get them from the local car parts shop where I usually go, so that's where we are. So we're gonna just carry on work. I'm not gonna take you through cleaning and stuff like that, there's no point. I'll just take you through stuff later on, and that's where we are at the moment. So hopefully these will fix all the issues with this car. And again, I'm adamant that all the temperature, fan running constantly, etc., I think that was battery issue, but I think until I then get the car running up to temperature, it's going to be difficult to tell. If it needs a new thermostat, a new sensor, maybe the sensor is failing when it gets hot, maybe that's the sensor there, so we can then replace these at a later stage. It's not too difficult, but for now I just want to make the car properly done, cleaned, etc., and ready to go. Okay, so it's really late now, it's about 8 o'clock. I'm now on the last glow plug, which is the one at the back. All the other ones are here. Okay, they are coming out with the threads a little bit like that, so it goes through the threads on the glow plug itself, but the head is actually good. So all I've been doing then is clean the thread and rethread, basically with 3 stages. I'll take you through everything, but at the moment I want to roughly tell you how I got the other 3 out. Fingers crossed that the last one is going to come out as good as the other ones did. So while I was cleaning, so I've got the manifold cleaned, intakes cleaned, etc. The only thing left on the intake is now blocking that hole where the shaft goes through. We'll do that tomorrow. I have an idea how I'm going to do it already, but that will be for tomorrow. So for today I just want to finish this off and take that glow plug. That's why I'm recording a little bit in low light, but hopefully it will be good enough to show you. So while I was cleaning, I broke loose every single one of them, and I probably gave about 2 or 3 turns on each one until they got stuck again, and then I would go like halfway back, and I left these filled with oil. It's kind of a WD-40, okay? Well, it's WD-40, but different specimen. So I left the bits full with that, and now I'm going to show you how I've done all the other 3, and I'll do the same on this one, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not going to break, and it's just going to come out. So let me place the phone in a good place so I can show you, and I will take it out. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this without stop recording. I'm going to show you everything I've done on the other ones. And if you don't want to watch it, just skip, or if you might want to see a glow plug breaking, stay tuned as well. So as you can see, they are loose. So it starts getting stuck, so I go back again. So I've been doing this throughout the afternoon. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to this position where it gets stuck a tiny bit. Now this is going to be too short for this last one. Okay, so there we go. On the other ones I've done with a shorter extension. On this one, because I have these plastics which I could take out, it doesn't really matter, this will do the job. So what I'm going to do with the impact tool on my lowest speed, back in, put it back in, now out again. Back in, out. Back in. Now let's see if this works. and don't stop, so the glow plug just doesn't weld in there. There we go. Okay, it's nearly out, so before that oil gets in, for that oil drop inside, we're going to clean it. There he is. Ah, so good. All out. Okay. So now I'm not going to stop recording. I'm just going to do it straight. What I'm going to do, I have 3 taps here. So we have, let me see if I think I already showed you these anyway. But as you can see there, we do have a lead tap, second tap, and bottom tap. So the lead tap is the first one we're going to use to kind of clean the stuff out. We're going to use a little bit of oil like that, so the metal, any swarfs, they stick to the oil, and it also obviously it helps the tap to go through the thread. Make sure you don't get this crust. Yeah, that's it. Now if I find my thingy, oh Jesus Christ, so many stuff around here. Oh, where did I put it now? Hold on guys, because I need to find it. Where did I put the thing? Ah, it's there. It's here, and I'll show you in a minute what we're going to do with this. For now, on the first pass, I just want to make sure I don't cross thread this. I'll go really slow like that. Pull it back because it's easier. There it is. As you can see, if you put oil, the swarfs, they come kind of attached or stick to this. We're going to clean this, and now I put all the way down. Sorry about the noise. Now we're going to go second tap. Again, a little bit of oil. Put it by hand. There it is. And now this one hopefully will go like this. Okay, let's clean it. do the last one. Yeah, the last one. Last one. What am I doing? Last one. That's it. All cleaned. Wow, 9 minutes, not too bad. So this is all done now. All four, I've done exactly the same on all the other three. So they are ready now for the new glow plugs and for the controller. I'll pick them up tomorrow, but this is what I want to do for today, which is all done. So I don't know if the way I remove the glow plugs, if it makes any sense, if you guys would do any different. Yeah, that's just what it is. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else to show you, so with no further ado, let's gonna wait for tomorrow. But obviously with the magics of YouTube and video editing, you don't need to wait for it. So okay, following day, I'm gonna quickly just go hold the parts. Just arrived from BMW to get the new module, got the new glow plugs, but I'll take you through that in a second. For now, I'm just gonna quickly show you how I'm gonna block the hole for the drill flaps where they used to be. So all I'm going to do, I already cut this bolt here. Okay, it's a really tiny bolt, flat head, so it's not going to disturb the hair in here as it comes through. So the bolt is going to go through this side, so I don't want nothing too bulky on this side. So I'm using one of these bolts that's going to be close to flat. I put a little bit of silicone, these high temperature silicone up to 204 degrees. Okay, and then on the other side I'm just gonna put one of these nuts that's gonna go there, and that's gonna block everything. And I'm gonna use a little bit of Loctite. This is up to 180 degrees, so it should lock everything in place. That's how I'm gonna block these up, and then we'll just put the motor back in place. That's here, so pretending everything is connected, and then we're gonna start to put everything back on. But for now, just quickly to show you how I'm gonna block it up, how we're gonna block that hole, and that's it. So stay there, we'll carry on in a second. Okay, so now that the manifold is ready to go back in with the flaps, actuator all in place, including all the linkage inside, etc, etc. Yeah, that's the old seals, don't ask. New glow plug controller, and look at that, made in Portugal. 4 brand new glow plugs, and obviously the controller. And now literally I'm not going to take you through the step by step to put everything back on. It's no rocket science, it's literally just start to put things in place. I will leave here the main torques. Okay, that's the main things you need to be concerned about. Everything else, just tight as you feel is okay. To be fair with you, as for the old seals, they are not actually too bad when you look like that. Look, they are actually quite above the plastic, so they're gonna make a good seal. Sometimes the old seals, they are actually flat with the whatever part you are installing. In this case, they are actually quite good, so they're gonna make a very, very good seal. So yeah, now we're gonna go to the reverse, put it all back on, and then give it a go, see how it runs. that's it. I believe everything is in place. There's no bolts, spare bolts, which is always a good sign. So I think I'm ready to start this thing. Not before connect the maxi says, clear all the codes, make sure everything is good, and then we'll give it a go. I'm just going to go through everything and double check that I haven't missed any plugs, I haven't missed anything, everything is routed correctly, and then yes, we'll go inside the car and start it up. Okay, so I just double checked everything on the engine bay. I don't think I've missed anything, everything seems plugged in, so I think it's time to go and give it a scan, clear any codes. So okay, let's put it like that. Automatic selection, it's gonna read that. Okay, let it to load to the main screen, then we'll go quickly to the engine, see if there's any codes that's still present, or even if they are, we'll clear, see if anything comes back, and then we'll go from there. Okay, main screen, that's gonna go to diagnose control unit, straight to my drive, to my engine, read codes. It's gonna be loads of codes obviously, because we had all of that unplugged and the ECU was waking up, etc. So okay, so there we go. Okay, as you can see, everything is absent, including the communications with the preheating control unit. So that's going to go back. No fault codes detected, and now, my friends, it's time to cycle the ignition and start this thing. I don't know how quickly it's gonna start, how well it's gonna start. Let's gonna try and see what happens. It started pretty quick, it's running pretty well. I don't know if you can hear, maybe just me, it looks like a ticking noise coming. But anyway, let's gonna put everything back together, all those trays, etc. I'm gonna assemble everything, and we're gonna go for a test drive, see how the car is running. Now the car is running. Let's to warm up the engine. Let's run the engine up to temperature, so no codes. Let's gonna go to my live data. Coolant temperature, that's the bit I'm quite interested on, because they said the coolant fan was running all the time, so I want to see exactly what this coolant does. In the meantime, I'll leave the engine running. I'm gonna assemble all those trays, etc., all those covers, and then we're gonna go for a drive test, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the car is running okay. I might see if I can do a regen, or if the car asks for a regeneration, who knows. We'll have to look at those values again, but it's too early. Let's gonna one step at a time. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me, guys. That ticking noise is disappeared. It could have been because we've been touching it, messing it with it. It could have been something like that, but it's definitely disappeared. I've been checking, oil level is okay. Coolant level is fine. So we are ready to go for a drive. Okay, so I need to make sure I don't forget to invert this footage, because I'm recording with the front camera. Anyway, at the moment the car is running here for about 5 to 10 minutes now, idling. sadly okay. Cooling fan is off. The car is now at 76 degrees and going up, as you can see in there, 77 now, so it looks okay. Intake temperature is now at 29 degrees. The external temperature is 26. It was sucking air at about 27 before I closed the bonnet. Obviously now the heat is kind of accumulating underneath the bonnet, and that temperature is going up slightly, but it's still really okay, the intake. So everything looks okay to me. Ambient pressure looks okay. Air mass looks about right, so I can't really see nothing too out of the ordinary. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the first thing I want to see is how high this temperature is going. For this to regen properly, the car should go up to about 90 degrees operation temperature. Usually these cars, when the thermostats are bad, the car doesn't really go too much above 75. So at the moment it's 80, but we're still idling, we are not driving. So I think I'm going to start to drive this thing and see what happens, and I think I will report back as we go along. So no further ado, let's gonna go reverse, see how these things run, and I think I will take you through a little bit of what's going on. Okay, and the first thing we get is a drive assistance fault. I have ESP light on and the brake light, yellow light on. So we really didn't drive that far. So I'm gonna stop here somewhere and try to see if I can figure out what's wrong with this. Maybe that is nothing serious. I know there's a little bit of shaky on the camera. I'm gonna stop here somewhere. Okay, so let me see exactly what's wrong with this and see if we can fix it. Engine temperature is now at 85 degrees, which is good. So just bear with me and we'll see what's going on. And there we go. You can guys read it. So just need a steering angle calibration, and light is already off. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, it performed okay. Escape. Okay, so no more lights, that's gone. Let's now cycle this ignition. Okay, lights off. Okay, let's go reverse. Let me turn around here. Driving okay, no limp mode. Sounds good. Let me go now on this road that way, because it's a quite long stretch and I can test the car a little bit better. Whee, massive bump here. Okay, let me drive the car for some time, load some live data again, see what the car is doing. But so far so good. I'm happy with it. Seems to be driving okay. That's it. I think that was the only issues. Okay, so I do apologize for that sudden drop off the phone. I was just monitoring the DPF, and as you can see, it looks like to me the car is about to start the regeneration. The exhaust temperatures are going quite high on 400s and even going up. The car is driving fine. Those 50-60 millibars driving at 1500 RPMs is probably only a bit on the high side, but it's not too bad. So you can see, look at the temperatures. I'm in the middle of the village at the moment, so obviously I'm not driving too fast. I'm now going to go onto some outer roads so I can actually cruise a little bit. And I think when it gets to the regeneration, that will change in there, hopefully. So let me see if I can go that way now. And guys, sorry for the noise. Hold on a second, let me close the windows. Guys, I do apologize, I was looking in the wrong place. The regeneration active says down there is active. That is for when the actual ECU is requesting a regeneration, but it's not active, but it's not requesting now because there's a regeneration already underway. So we're just gonna carry on driving. As you can see, 680 degrees, that is definitely burning that DPF. So we're gonna go for a quick drive. Sorry, we're gonna go drive for a little bit longer until the regeneration is not active anymore and our temperatures drop down to normal operational temperatures. But it looks like everything is running okay. Yeah, looks like that's what it is, guys. I'm really happy with it, and we'll check those pressures when he finishes as well. Let me drive for a little bit longer and see what he does. But so far the car was driving fine even before, but again, as I was start to drive and I start to look at these values, I could definitely see the car was start to look for a regen. I have the phone in front of the machine and I was not looking at that at the bottom where it says regeneration active. I do apologize for that, but it looks like it's doing what's supposed to be doing, and I guess I will see you back in a minute. So hopefully it won't take too long to finish the regeneration. Usually it doesn't. Okay, let's go to carry on and see what happens. Okay, and I just stopped here to show you all done. Okay, so the regeneration is now inactive. Engine since the regeneration 47 seconds, so it just literally reset. Mileage since regeneration 0 because I haven't drove anything. Exhaust back pressure, this is idling, really nice. And the exhaust temperature now is just what it should be, and where regeneration did requested. So obviously that's where we are. So all done, regeneration is done. My EGR valve is now back to where it should be, and now we're gonna drive back home, and I'm gonna drive it like if I stole it. So push a little bit, make sure it drives okay, no limp modes and all that good stuff, as the guy was saying. And I think I'm gonna wrap up this video. So if I go back on the video now, I would have to go and check, but I think that was saying regeneration active when I plug it in the first time. So it could have been that the car was trying to do a regeneration from the start, but something like the glow plugs was preventing it from doing it. So it could have been that, but I don't have the background of the car. All I know is that the thermostat and water pump was changed. That's the only thing I know. And looking at the DPF, it looks like it's new as well. So that's what it looks like. Although the guy, if the guy reckons if that was changed, was not him, was by the previous owner, whatever. But looks like we have a success so far. Let's go to drive it back and hopefully wrap up this video. Okay, so drove back home. The car is driving beautifully, no limp modes, no nothing. It's driving absolutely fine. However, there is one thing that I indeed noticed, which I was not really driving, I couldn't really hear it, but as soon as I stopped here I could definitely hear it. And now that I opened the bonnet, it's kind of come down a little bit, but it is the fan, the radiator fan. Let me show you. It's constantly running and is going like up and down, speeding up and slowing down, and it speeds up when it gets to about 106 degrees. But look how it fluctuates. Have you seen now? It's 96, then goes up to 100. I think that sensor is bad. The temperature sensor on this, actually, let me turn these off. So I think that's the issue. Oh, obviously driving with all the hair coming through, maybe it doesn't go so high, but this is definitely not a, look, I can put my hand on this EGR, it's not too bad. So the sensor lives right there at the back. So I think this is going to be a bad sensor. I'm just going to unplug it, make sure I don't have any wiring issues. So when I unplug it, inside should go to -40 or whatever that is. So actually, let me get the machine. So I think we're going to have to get a new sensor for this. And then we should be ready to go, or we should be good to go. So there we go. So let me put the phone here. We have 104 degrees and 5. Let me unplug it. Come on. There we go, -40, so definitely that is our sensor. So we're gonna have to get another one, I guess, because that's the problem. Okay, so the sensor is definitely gone, so I got the sensor out, and if you can see, the sensor is cracked right there. So most likely fluid got in there and it damaged the sensor. So we're going to need a replacement, and that should sort our fan constantly running. Okay, and this is following day. I just got back from BMW. 41 pounds later, we have a new sensor, part numbers in case if you guys are interested. So we're just going to put the new sensor back in, check the fluid, and then retest, see if this resolves the issue. Okay, so the new sensor is now in place. We're going to start up this thing. I don't know if I'm going to go for a drive today. I think there's a service overdue. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for a drive today, but we're going to let it running and go up to temperature and see what happens. Obviously the other sensor was also really okay up to a certain point, if you guys remember, but we're just overshooting the readings on the temperature. Maybe with the pressure inside the coolant system, the fluid would get through that little crack on the sensor and would mess up the readings, whatever. But we're just gonna monitor. So this time, rather than monitor the DPF as we done last time, we're just gonna monitor the temperature of the engine and see what happens. Yeah, I might go for a quick drive at the end of the road just to make sure it still drives okay before we wrap up, just to make sure, and make sure the fan is not going to be here running all the time as it was yesterday, even with the engine quite cool, if that makes sense. So stay there, I will catch up in a second. Okay, and I actually came for a drive. It's been absolutely fine. I've been monitoring these temperatures since I left home. Something interesting happened, because when the temperature I left home was really about 65 degrees, and when it reached about 85, somewhere around there, 85, somewhere around there, all of a sudden that jumped to about 110, and then came down to about 19, then went up again to about 105, and I was just wondering what the heck's going on. But then it came down all the way down to about 86, somewhere around there, and then it started to climb again up to about there. So I think what happened was when the thermostat opened, as the water started to flow through the wall coolant system, maybe water that was in a part of the block hotter than the rest of the water. When it passed through the sensor, it should rise up the temperature, and then it came, obviously it settled down again, etc, etc. But I've been driving now for a good, I don't know now, but maybe 10 minutes, and it's been around there. It fluctuates between about 87 and it goes up to about 92, somewhere around there, but it doesn't really leave this area, which is really good. So I'm quite happy to say we have the problem fixed. I'm going to drive back home now, just to make sure the fan is not actually kicking in at those temperatures, but I don't see why it would. But just so no one has any doubts, we're going to wrap up this when I get home, so I can see if the fan is running or not. But I don't think it will be at these temperatures. The ECU will not request for the fan to run. So just a few more minutes and I will wrap up this as soon as I arrive home. Okay, just got back home. Let's open this bonnet. Oh, I can't hear the fan running, so I don't think it's running. No, he's not, he's off. And would have to be off with the temperature we are having in there. It's at 87 at the moment. And again, it's been between about 85 and 92, 93. It's not, as you've seen, it's all cloudy. It's not a hot day today as well, so, and I've just been driving around, not really hard to be fair. But anyway, happy with this. So just to recap all the problems with this car: initially the battery, well, that was just what it was. So I think another thing that I would like to correct, although I might gotta put some writing on back on the video, which was obviously I mistakenly thought, and I said on the video I would have to go back and watch and confirm on the footage. The car was not tried to do a regen when I first scanned it, because we're saying at the bottom was saying regeneration inactive, but it definitely started one as soon as I went the first time driving the car. It started one as soon as we went. So I think the glow plugs will never. The problem with the glow plugs, most likely on these cars, it does prevent the regenerations from happening. So maybe the reason why the car was going to limp mode would be the DPF, maybe a conjunction with the battery the way it was and the DPF. Well, it could have been many things, but another thing that obviously would play a big part was the intake, the way the state that intake was. Yes, it was not extremely bad, but it was bad. It was definitely restricting airflow to the engine, and obviously that affects everything. So it was a little bit of a mixture of things that I believe was putting the car into limp mode. As for the fan, for the radiator fan running, well, it's self-explanatory. The bad sensor, and that was it. So I'm happy to say the car is fixed. I drove the car yesterday, drove it today again. It's driving absolutely fine. It's not throwing any faults or anything like that. It's driving beautifully. It's really smooth. So there was nothing to check anymore for now. So yeah, it was a little bit of all over the place. I should have tried the car before again, but I didn't. As soon as I saw those no communications with the glow plug controller, straight away that would have to be sorted. And I think we got there in the end, guys. So with no further ado, I don't know how long this video is already. That's gonna wrap up this. I do really hope you enjoyed the video. I do hope there's some information here you guys can find useful. If you do have any questions, any comments, put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.